What is up, guys? Welcome back to Girl Fight, the Sports Talk podcast. I'm so excited to be back. I've been quiet for so long, and so I have a lot to say today. Today, we are going to be talking about Ja Morant. We're going to be talking about NBA playoffs and also La Liga. I've been gone for some time, just doing me, dealing with life, but I'm back getting into the groove of things. Of course, remember that our mission here at Girl Fight is always to bring respect and awareness to women in sports. So let's dive in. We're going to start with Ja Morant because this boy he doing too much. So Ja Morant, point guard for the Grizzlies, first round, number 2 draft pick. Okay. Great player on the court. He averages 26.2 points, 5.9 rebounds, 8.1 assists. He's 46% from, field goal percentage. Why does he feel the need to do stupid shit? I don't know. But I do know that I have my arguments. I have my arguments for both sides. I really do. Like, do I think Ja Morant's punishment was harsh enough the first time? Probably not. In a sense of, if they were trying to make an example out of him, they did a horrible job. Because obviously punishment didn't mean anything. He went back. He did it again. Now his punishment has been released since the finals are over, and they gave him a 25-game suspension. Do I think that's enough? Probably not. But like I said, if they're trying to make an example out of him, then no, that's not enough. They need to do more. I just have this thing where, I don't know, a lot of people think that he is not wrong at all for this behavior on Instagram, and everybody's like, oh, he's an athlete, he's just an athlete, they do what they want. I've been an athlete, and not nearly at the professional level. Division I level, they hold you to a higher standard than any other person on campus. And that's because people look up to you. People are looking at you, especially these days in the age of social media and the age of nobody having a brain of their own. Okay, everyone is influenced by social media, and especially a big name like Ja Morant. And if they see you waving guns around, being a thug, loosely using that word because he's not, then they're going to think that's okay too. And then he gets on Instagram, right? And he tries to prove a point, and he says that the gun's a lighter. No. I don't think he should have did that. I think he should have just zipped it, locked it, put it in his pocket, took his punishment, and left it how it was. Like, don't sit here. Just say you're sorry and move on, because what you did was irresponsible. Even if it was a lighter, it was presented as a weapon, a deadly weapon. Nobody knew that was a lighter. So I think Ja Morant was very wrong. I don't think that this type of behavior should be accepted amongst athletes. Now, my argument to that is I do feel Ja in a sense that when you are an athlete, and he's had eyes on him his entire career from college to now, it gets tiring when you feel like you're always an example and somebody's always looking up to you. You didn't sign up to be a role model, but that's the nature of the beast. That's what falls in your lap. To whom much is given, much is required. So, Ja Morant, you're wrong. And I don't think that this behavior should be excused, and there should be a solution to this behavior amongst athletes that decide to do this crazy stuff. Now, the NFL would not have handled this, period. They wouldn't have handled it. They let their athletes do, all types of crazy stuff, and it's no big deal. I like how the NBA holds their athletes to a very high standard. So a lot of people saying like, oh, it's harsh. It's all he did was show a gun on Instagram. You don't know the magnitude that could have had. And I do think that his punishment was fair. I honestly don't think it was hard enough because I feel like people who do things like this, there needs to be an example made out of these people. Simply, and it sucks to say this, but simply for the public. You're a public figure. People look up to you. Little boys, little black boys look up to you. We don't need them waving guns around, especially fake ones. Like, come on now, be for real. So his punishment was set at a 25-game suspension. Like I said, I don't think that was enough, but I'm not the commissioner. You know, it is what it is. And we'll see, like, if his behavior has changed. He went on Instagram trying to have, like, a little pity party. I didn't like that. And I will say this, like, I'm a Ja Morant fan. I don't like how he tried to go on Instagram and, like, do all of that. Like, just take it to the chest. Take it to the chest and move on. Anyway, speaking of the NBA, since we're here, let's talk about the NBA Finals, which Ja Morant was not in. I don't know how I felt about this final this season. I know there's a lot of people who have mixed emotions about these finals. I feel like it was watching paint dry. I feel like it was so boring. Like, first of all, I had no skin in the game. The caliber of the teams, I don't know. If you look at statistics, the teams on paper look great. Denver, this is just in the series. Denver was averaging 105 points per game, 46 rebounds, 25 assists, all right, and they were shooting 76 from the free throw line. Miami, 96 points per game versus Denver's 105. 38 rebounds versus the 46 rebounds, 23 assists versus their 25 assists, and 40% from the free throw line versus 76%. And honestly, I'm a firm believer in free throws wins games. They're free. Make your free throws. But this was boring. This was the most boring final I've ever seen in my life. First of all, of course, I wanted to see the Lakers in the finals. Everybody did. But this just was not entertaining. Like, it was like hard for me to even like lock in and watch the game. And the only reason why I did was because it's sports and there's nothing else on TV. So I watched. I had no skin in the game, so it was boring. Both of these teams are really boring to me. I'm not a fan of either. I will say I do like Jokic. He's a GOAT. But in this series, they had a few, they have a couple standout players on each side. We have, obviously, the Joker. He led his team in the series in blocks, points, and rebounds. So he was balling. And then, of course, they had Murray. Okay, he led his team in assists. And he showed up. He showed up for sure. And everybody thought he was going to get kind of quiet during the finals. But I think he did a good job in carrying his momentum. Now, Miami, they have some key players too. They have Bam, right? Bam led his team in blocks, points, and rebounds as well. And Jimmy Butler, of course, Jimmy Buckets, didn't lead the team in buckets. He led the team in assists, though. So, I don't know. Who would y'all have rather seen this year in the finals? Like, obviously, I want to see a Spurs final. Number 1 draft pick, by the way. Race for safes, baby. Here we come. We're coming for number 6. We already have 5. Talk to me when your team has 5 championships. But I would have rather seen the Lakers in this final. Because I know, like, be for real, I know that my team was not going to be in the finals. So it was just, that's what it is. I know some people say they wanted to see the Clippers. I have beef with Kawhi. So I don't ever want to see him in another playoff ever again. I'm a hater, yes. He did my team dirty. Don't like it. I have my opinions about it. I'm still in my feelings about it. I can speak for all of San Antonio. We are all in our feelings about it, okay? We're not messing with it. But this was just like a really boring final. Like, I wasn't here for it. I wasn't here for it. I didn't like it. I was bored. The NBA script writers, they should have did that one better. Because, I didn't like it. It wasn't it. I wanted to see the Lakers. A lot of people saying they want to see the Suns. I don't know if that would have been too interesting either. That would have been kind of boring too. I feel like that's a lateral move. Like, I don't think that would have been a team that I would rush to my TV to watch. Like, I watched more of the Lakers when they were getting their ass whooped than I did of the finals. Who doesn't want to watch LeBron and team? Come on now, be for real. And it's just, I am indeed disappointed about this final. However, congratulations to Denver. I want to say this. I've been on one this year with sports, all right? I knew Argentina was going to win the World Cup. I called it. And if you follow me on Instagram, you know that this is not a lie. I called it. Argentina won. I obviously knew the Chiefs were going to win the Super Bowl. Chiefs Kingdom. They won. I said Denver was going to win the NBA Finals. They won. I have been on one, and if I was a gambler, I'd be up like 100K right now. Because I went off this year. But speaking of going off, what I really want to talk about is La Liga and this racism. Now, I do want to point out the fact that as a soccer player, this is not new. This is not new. This is something that we face all the time through this sport. It's not a sport for us, believe it or not. In America, soccer is a rich white kids sport. It is very expensive if you want to be at an elite level. It is not based off of talent. It's based off of mommy and daddy's money, and is really political and who you know. So when I see this type of stuff happening in La Liga, I wasn't surprised one bit. And a lot of this stuff goes brushed under the rug because La Liga is racist and they don't care. They're going to literally not care. Even though half of the people on a freaking soccer team are black, whether that be of African descent, okay, whether that be you are playing for an African team, or that mean you're Brazilian, like Vinicius Jr. He is Brazilian, and they're sitting here making all types of claims. He is an Afro-Latina man, and I think that they are, honestly, black people are the heart of sports. Like, there are no sports without black people. Let's be for real. Look at your favorite football team. Look at your favorite basketball team. Look at your favorite baseball team. Yeah, they're Dominican and Cuban and Puerto Rican and black, okay? They're Afro-Latinas. Like, black people, we run the sports world. So to see this is just insane. But for it to be so loud but so quiet makes me even more upset. So, like, with Vinicius Jr., he's a great player. And you would think that you would get more respect being such a great player. He plays for Real Madrid, all right? And just this 2022-2023 season, my guy has 10 goals and 33 assists. And if you're a soccer player, he is balling. And you would know that. If you know soccer, he is balling. 10 goals. 33 assists as a left winger. So he's doing his job. He's delivering every single time for this team. Now, what happened was he went to a stadium in Spain and they were shouting racial slurs. They're calling him monkey. They're calling him, the N-word, which I'm not going to repeat on here. They are just disrespecting my guy. And it got to the point where, I mean, like, he broke down on the field. And his coach had to remove him off of the field. Not because he was tired, not because he didn't want to play, because he was being harassed. He was being racially abused. Like, that is not cool. He was being racially abused by somebody who was wearing his jersey. Like, you paid for my shit. You put money in my pocket and you came here to terrorize me and racially abuse me. Not cool. It's not the first time that this has happened. This guy is a great player. What would warrant somebody to go to those extremes and just be so disrespectful? Like, it is so hurtful. I have been in situations where I've been on the field and I have heard racial slurs. I've heard racial remarks towards me by another team, not even by their parents, but by their team. But y'all know me. I'm disrespectful. And that's not going to hurt my feelings. You're not going to make me cry and come off the field because I got something to spit right back at you. And I hope your joke is funnier than mine. So, but I think it's just ridiculous. This man is an 86 overall in FIFA. Like, y'all, he's balling. This is a struggle in the soccer world all around. The president of La Liga literally came out and made a statement, and he was like, I don't care. He basically said, I don't care. He said, his words were, racism is never going to end. And he didn't care. You know why? Because he's racist. He said things about these black players, and you can literally look him up. He has, in quotations, said disgusting things about the black players. And not even the black ones, just the dark ones. Half of them that he's talked crap about, they're not even black. They're just darker than he is. And I think that's so childish. I think that's ridiculous. Soccer is such a beautiful sport. Like, it makes the world go round, literally. People who don't even like each other become friends over their soccer team. It is a worldwide sport. It is the only sport that is played in every single country in the world. Whether you're playing it in your bougie American stadium or you're playing it on the street with a basketball. Great sport, great game. It brings people together. It brings community. This is the exact opposite of what the game is about. The game is about fun. The game is about love. The game is about heart. It's not about hatred. It's not about making somebody have to come off of the court and you're making this man stop doing something that he lives for. All because of words. And not even just words. Sometimes it's not just words. I've seen where players have been physically assaulted by fans. And that is unacceptable. And La Liga needs to do a better job. They need to do a better job of getting this under control. Because it's not cool. I've had my fair share. And it's not okay. There have been other instances, like this is not the first time. Mbappe, one of the best players of our generation, got hammered. I'm talking what they disrespected the man up and down for losing a World Cup final. The man was in the finals and he barely lost. That was one of the best final games I've ever seen in my life. And once again, there's 10 other people on the field. It's not just Mbappe. But they annihilated that man. They annihilated that man for losing to Argentina. And it's like, it's just a game. It's supposed to be for fun. It's supposed to be for a community. So with Vinicius, the Spanish police, they did launch an investigation with the aggressor who was wearing his name and his number, which I think is insanity. It's insanity. How are you gonna wear my stuff, rep my name, come to my field and terrorize me? Like, I'm just not getting it. The punishment for this particular fan was to have their La Liga membership withdrawn for 3 years. I don't think that's enough. I think if you are assaulting people verbally, physically, you need to never be around ever again. You're aggressive. You're aggressive. And the game is just not for that. The game is just not for that. The game is about community. When you play the game of soccer, you feel like a family with your team. And so for the president to blow it off and to just say, like, racism's never going to end, like, why do I care? That's messed up, because you need to protect your players. They're putting money in your pocket. So I'm confused about that. And also, that fan needs to have their membership taken away for life. Like, they should never be able to come back to another La Liga game, another La Liga stadium. It's unacceptable. And I will just say this: America, world, wake up. I'm not understanding. I don't get it. The racism has to stop, because let's be for real. Half of the stuff y'all get is from black people. Half of the things you do that you deem cool were first deemed ghetto. All right? So let's put some respect on us and have some appreciation. And maybe that is the problem. Maybe everybody's hating that they can't be where he is at and do what he's doing. So it's like, oh, what's left? Let's just be racist. But I'm honestly so sorry that that happened to him, because I know, as somebody who has been there, and especially somebody at his caliber, where he's in stadiums across the world, and he probably deals with this at every single game. His mental preparedness is probably 10 times more than his physical preparedness for a game, simply because he has to be prepared to block out the noise of people calling him all types of things and throwing bananas at him, and all just being ridiculous and just being ugly and nasty. That is just never ever cool. So I feel really sorry for him. I don't think that punishment was harsh enough either. I am a firm believer of make an example out of people, especially when they're racist like that. That is why racism never ends, because it's always just a slap on the wrist, and then they can continue doing what they need to do. Not cool. Because had that been vice versa, oh my gosh, the world would have shut down. And let's be for real. Let's be for real. Black people are held to this crazy standard, and it's exhausting, and we're over it. So everybody else get in formation, because we're about to be unapologetic. And that doesn't mean stereotypical. That just means you're not going to hold me to a different standard than you hold everybody else. And period. The end. That's it. So, I mean, y'all let me know what you think. What do you think about Ja Morant's punishment? What do you think about La Liga's reaction and La Liga's punishment to this insane and disgusting and ugly fan? And who would you have rather seen in the finals this year? That's really what I want to know. Answer me those 3 questions. This is the end of this episode of Girl Fight. We will see you on our next episode. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I'm so glad to be back. I missed y'all. And I know you miss hearing me talk all of my crap, all my noise, and it's going to be more and more and more. So I'm so happy to be back. Thank you for tuning in to Girl Fight. And remember, our mission here is always to bring respect and awareness to women in sports. So shout out to all the women in sports. I am Cayman Alexia, a woman in sports. And I'll see you next time.